Hi, Teresa.
Good morning, Mike. We saw the Texans last night stay in the locker room during the anthems, and then they linked arms with the Chiefs before the game. Have you all or your locker room talked or decided about what you all choose to do on Monday night?
Well, the message throughout the off season and throughout this training camp has been about respect, right? It's been about listening. It's been about respect. Not trying to make people feel a certain way, but I think that our players will do what they feel comfortable doing, and we will support that. And I hope that they support one another. I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic. And so sometimes that path for demonstration or bringing about positive change may look differently for each person. But we always have those conversations, and it's about respect and listening, Teresa.
Trump?
Yeah, just to kind of change the subject to the game itself. With that altitude, how much does at times having to, slow things down with the tempo of the game, how much does that play into this week? Does it play into it more?
Well, Teron, I think what happens is you get out there and it gets you, gets you in warm-ups. Having been a player out there, you get out there and you start, doing your pregame warm-up, a few hours before the game. And I think you recognize it, and then you go back in, you come back out, and I think you feel a little better. But we'll understand this is the first game. Emotions will be high. Hopefully, we can keep those emotions in check and be able to use all our energy for playing and not wasting some of that energy just being excited. And then we'll see how it goes. It is first game. Most usually everybody plays. Whether it's hot, it's usually hot. This opening week, it was hot in Cleveland. Again, we had a hot game, 100 degrees in Indy, or here versus Indy. So everybody that's dressed and active for the game will be expected to play and hopefully have a role.
Do you think the whole concept of the altitude, do you think that's somewhat overrated or overemphasized?
I'm not sure by who. I mean, I think the ball goes farther and the air's has less oxygen in it. So, I don't know. I'm not necessarily a scientist or whether it's overrated or not. I'm not really sure that's we have to play in Denver at night at 8:20, and then that's when we'll try to be ready to go.
David Byer.
Mike, given the variety they have at running back, how important is it for the 11 guys on defense at any one time to be aware of who is in the backfield, and how different do you see those guys they can put back there?
I think that knowing your personnel and their personnel that we're facing is critical. Every player has a skill set, has a size. It's whether you're a tall player, fast player, quick player, who you're going against is critical. So that's going to be important with Gordon, Lindsley, and obviously Freeman. The three backs that they have, which tight ends in the game, which receivers, all that stuff, matters. I think, and that's a lot of information to process while you're getting a call, figuring out what your job is, and then also figuring out, what the player's skill set is on the other side.
Terry?
Mike, with the time that Christian Fulton has missed, how much can you realistically expect to be able to put on his play?
I think Terry still has dial-up internet. Terry McCormick at AOL.com with that. Terry, I think you're talking about Christian Fulton and the time that he missed. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to recreate the reps that we've had in practice for any player, and especially a player that's new to our system. And we'll try to continue as we work through here this week. Get him ready for the game as well as the rest of the rookies. Okay.
Terry, did you have another one, or are you good? All right, we'll go
just one
to
for Terry today. Terry just gets one today.
John, the birthday boy, John Glenn.
Yes, indeed. Creeping towards 30. Mike, I wonder if you could talk about how important physicality is for receivers on their routes, prior to the catch, and specifically Jonnu Smith. How does he do in that regard?
Well, again, there's a lot of two types of receivers, probably one that wants to create contact to be able to use their size, their skill set. And then there's some other ones that would probably rather avoid it. So Jonnu's a strong, fast player. And again, to be able to work through contact as guys try to reroute you, or they're physical with you at the line of scrimmage, or whether they're pressing you. You have to do a lot to get back into your route quickly in order to be an option for the quarterback. And then talking about fighting through the catch, being strong at the catch. One thing we always try to teach is to be able to continue to go out and attack the football, not let it get into you where their hands or bodies or pads can affect the catch. So those are things that we work on, and Jonnu would be one of those players that has continued to improve in that regard.
Sure. One follow on a different topic. Jeffrey Simmons, obviously when he was drafted, the questions of maturity came up because of the incident before college. But I wonder now, just kind of listening to him and seeing him on the field, does he maybe actually seem more mature for his age in some ways, in terms of like leadership and things like that, than some other players?
Well, I don't think I ever had any concern about Jeff's maturity level when we visited with him and spoke with him. So that's just how I felt. Felt very comfortable, as obviously John and Amy did, or we wouldn't have brought him onto the team. And so that's only continued to develop and grow since his time on our team as a leader, and what he's been able to do, and how he handles his family and his business outside of here. I would say that I've been impressed with all that stuff outside of football. And so I know he's excited for the season. I know he's excited to continue to try to help us on this football team.
Jim?
Like, I know you have spoken about the team electing the 5 captains early in the week. From an overall leadership standpoint in the locker room, how has that kind of evolved since you've been the head coach, and how do you like this group of leaders you have this year?
Yeah, I mean, we had a number of players. I told the team again this morning, we had a number of players that received significant votes for captain. And so those will be reflective. Those players that maybe didn't get quite enough votes to be one of the captains, we'll continue with our game captains, guys that we feel like, each and every week are continuing to lead without having a title as a captain. So I think that's important. But I think it has continued to improve. Guys that maybe Roger Saffold or Jeffrey Simmons, that last year was Roger's first year with us, and he's become much more comfortable here with us, and his ability to lead and help other players. And then Jeffrey, for example, his last year was his first year, so he's kind of grown comfortable in that role as well. And there's so many other players too. I just use those guys as last year kind of being their first year, but I think anytime that a team can be player led and the team can hold each other accountable, I think that's always a positive.
I know some teams wear the C patch on their jerseys, and I don't think your teams have done that. Do you not want to set guys apart maybe with the jerseys, or maybe can you speak to your philosophy on just why not wear the patch?
Just something that we decided to do. I think everybody knows who the captains are. We've announced them, and so we'll go on and play the game with the 48 guys and not have to designate. We don't put RB on Derrick Henry's jersey. Everybody knows he's a running back, and Rashaan Evans won't have LB on his jersey, but everybody knows he's a linebacker. So that's just kind of what we decided to do.
Eric?
Hey, Mike. I actually wanted to follow up on that. Daquan Jones has been with the team, obviously, for a while now. How would you describe his leadership style?
I think he's improved since I've been here. He's always put the team first in anything that we've asked him to do. He's been a great worker in the offseason when we were able to have an offseason program. He's conscientious in meetings, plays a number of different positions for us, shows up to work, and is always seems to be available. So I would say that those are a lot of good examples to start with as far as his leadership.
Chris Harris?
Hey, Mike. Kind of along those themes, we saw that today the NFLPA names Kevin Byer its first ever community MVP. We know how much he means to the team, this community, but just from your perspective, how important is he? And then also, we learned yesterday, and I guess he delivered his baby before he could get his wife to the hospital. And I wonder if you have any thoughts on that and just kind of his overall, just who he is.
Well, again, it's an incredible story. This is a player that, a person was told late into the recruiting process that the school wouldn't have a spot for him, went to a smaller school, non-combine, has been a productive player, been a great leader. Again, he cares about the team. He's always into it. He's one of those players that helps me carry the message into the locker room. I value his opinion. And again, that the work that he's continued to do and will continue to do, in and around our community, has been impressive to watch his efforts. And then, obviously having that baby at the house, I think that just shows you he's pretty talented in a lot of different things. So, but again, glad that they were able to have, a healthy baby.
You imagine yourself in a scenario where you have to help deliver one of your kids?
Well, considering I wasn't even there for Carter's, it would be hard to have me deliver it. So I was in Foxborough and unavailable.
Joe, last one.
Mike, you used the words real and authentic on the day that your players decided not to practice as well a couple weeks ago. Just wondering, to you, does that kind of boil down to the idea of let everyone do what they'd like to do rather than let's all sort of have one thing that we do together?
Yeah, I just think that if we're going to listen to, if we're going to be willing to listen and be willing to learn and be respectful, everybody's, probably going to have different feelings or a different path. And if we all agree that, that we have to make positive change as it relates to, racial justice, police reform, that path that we go about going down may look different for each and every person. And that's all I'm trying to do is provide a respectful environment for us to do our jobs on the field, but as well as make positive change off of it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Have a great day, guys. Have a great Friday.